Welcome to our new digital nation. Thank you very much, Estonia. I do appreciate it. This is your digital ID card that allows you to easily establish and manage a trusted EU company from anywhere in the world. That is friggin' cool, might I say. So what exactly is an e-residency, an Estonian electronic residency? Basically, the e-residency is a program set forth by the Estonian government that allows anybody in the world to secure this digital residency, and through that digital residency then to both set up and manage an Estonian company and do those two things remotely without having to step foot within the borders of Estonia. It's a highly viable option for freelancers, for online business owners, digitally focused business owners, digital nomads, in whichever category they fit within those previous two. It's a highly viable option for these groups of people to set themselves up from a legal standpoint. I would say it's a nice middle ground between setting up an offshore, paying 0% taxes, which does come with its limitations. It's not like setting up an offshore is just a get out of jail free card. And on the other hand, there was the choice of just, dealing with the just archaic system of that is the most of today's governments. They do not accommodate for digital businesses, really. They're very outdated, they're very old, they're not really made for today's world. And what the e-residency is, in my view, is a nice middle ground between both of these choices, or perhaps you could also say it's a third choice. Basically, you get the legitimacy, you get access to proper banking, and all that stuff that I'll get into a little bit later in this video. Since its launch in December of 2014, the program has seen a lot of buzz in various communities like the tech scene, the startup scene, the digital nomad scene, of course. There's been a lot of buzz about this, and for good reason. It is a very innovative program, and the timing is very good as well. At the time of making this video, there are approximately 31 to 32,000 e-residents in the world, all over the world. And right now, every day, approximately, there are 900 new e-residents. And out of these 32,000 e-residents, approximately 10% are Finnish, followed by Russians and Americans at around 6%. Then is Ukrainians, Germans, Brits, and so on. All of those are around 5 to 6% as well. Some of the more popular e-residents that you might know of are Guy Kawasaki, Apple evangelist and author. Then is Shinzo Abe, Japanese Prime Minister. And Bam Margera from Jackass, interestingly enough. And then, of course, yours truly, right here. Now, that is all well and good, but how do you go about getting this e-residency? How much will it cost you? How much time will it take? Basically, to get an e-residency, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hop over to eresident.gov.ee, and once you're there, you're gonna click on Become an e-resident. Then you're gonna have to fill out some personal details, some identification details, some contact info, pretty standard stuff. Keep in mind you're gonna have to also submit a scanned version of a travel document, be it your passport or your ID card, as well as a nice headshot with a no noise background. They have all the details and requirements listed out on their site. So a nice headshot of you looking fabulous for your ID card. As for the cost is approximately 100 euros for the state fee, and then around 20 to 30 euros, I think it was, to get the e-residency shipped over to the embassy. That's another fee to get the document over to wherever you're at. So yeah, and basically once you apply, for me it took approximately a month from the time my application was received to the time when I received the e-residency to my closest embassy, which is Canberra, down here in Australia. So 3rd of January it was received. 10th of January it was granted by the police. Since I'm not a criminal, they let me have it. So if you have a criminal track record, you might not get an e-residency. But you know, that's life. 29th of January was when my e-residency arrived down here in Australia.
You've got mail.
Hello, we inform that your IT card has arrived to the embassy. For picking up, please call by 0409 790 8474.
Finally.
Please call by 0409 790 8474.
Fair enough.
I feel good sometimes I don't. I fling this down Western Road. Might go down to G.O.D.
In love with the I'm in love.
I go on too many dates.
Now, baby, I'm no saint. I'm a stone cold winner. Good job, money where your mouth is. I got the cover with the chains, no laundering. Step up and color stain, killing my belly. I got the dollars and I'm ready to bounce around.
1 hour later. Two hours later.
Made it. And I still got a few minutes to spare. How about that? Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. I think you can just go in right now.
Yeah. What are you saying, Pere? Yeah.
Congratulations to being Estonian electronic resident.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. So, I just got my e-residency. How cool is that, hey? The process was so quick, I thought it would be like more complicated, which just goes to show how awesome the Estonian government is. The kit entails a card as well as a card reader, just like so. But mainly it's just what matters is the legal side of things. That's where the real value is. So far so good, not disappointed. So that's pretty much as far as the registering and setting up and obtaining the e-residency itself goes. The process is very simple, no nonsense. The guy at the embassy, he took my passport, did some admin, he took my fingerprints, and that's about it. Then he congratulated me on becoming an e-resident, and that is all. So now let's dive a little bit deeper into some of the benefits of an e-residency and basically the legal format that Estonians provide for people. Number one, with an Estonian company, which you've registered with through your e-residency, what you get is you get the legitimacy of an EU company. Obviously, when you have a legal entity that is registered within the EU, that gives you a certain amount of legitimacy in the eyes of your clients, in the eyes of business partners. So that is a pretty big upside of this. Another thing that goes hand in hand with legitimacy is that you get access to banking, to European banking, which a lot of people, a lot of nationalities don't really have. And actually, that is one of the main reasons that many people opt for the e-residency, is to get access to banking within the EU. Another big one, it is very cheap. It costs on average somewhere around 60 to 200 euros per month to maintain. That may or may not include some fees, I'm not sure. But that main cost would be accounting, filing the reports, paying someone to manage the all the admin side of this. 60 to 200. That is cheap. That probably varies based on what you're doing, on how many employees you have, etc., etc. But it is cheap without a doubt. Next, setup fees are low. As I mentioned, it's 100 plus 30 to like 130 euros to obtain your e-residency, and then registering your company will cost you around I believe it was, at the moment it's 190 euro to set up your Estonian company. Again, cheap. If we're looking from a global standpoint, that is cheap. That is not a lot of money to set up your for the state fee. Another very important point is the tax structure. The tax structure that they offer actually is quite friendly and I would say like, advantageous to the location independent entrepreneur. The key point is that the corporate income tax is at 20%. When you get taxed is when you distribute profits to your shareholders. So in the case that you decide not to distribute your profits, if you decide to keep them within the company, reinvest them, you don't get taxed. And by no means am I an expert on this stuff. Accounting is definitely not my thing. I'm not into accounting. There's also, they have added an option of 14% corporate income tax. In specific cases, it's very it's quite complex. Then of course you got to remember about VATs, social income tax and all that stuff. But again, I'm not an expert. I'll just probably leave some links down below or whatever that you can look into this further if you so desire. But yeah, the tax structure that they offer is good compared to other EU governments. Estonia understands that location independent people, entrepreneurs that are like digital and stuff, they have a very wide selection of choices. So it is in their best interest to offer them something that is acceptable and friendly. And just from the standpoint of a government, what Estonia has done and what Estonia is doing, in my opinion, is very, very commendable. In the light of other governments that are fighting the changes that are occurring, the technological changes, the societal changes, Estonia is embracing them. And that, I think, is very, very commendable, the progressiveness that they are an example of in the light of other governments that are holding on to power, resisting change. They are embracing it, and that is so commendable, and I find that to be very inspiring. And the thing is, they will gain from this effort immensely. For a government to be able to see this trend and jump on it just without much fuss, they see the trend, they see the opportunity, and they create an offer to these people is amazing. And relative to the money that they spent on creating this program, their money is going to be just, the upside will be immense, huge. Why? So, okay, let's wind this forward a little bit. The current trends of freelancers, of digital nomads, of digital businesses and online businesses, these trends are just in their early phases. There will be so many more freelancers in the near future like this. This is not really up for debate. The trends are clear. We can debate on how big these changes are going to be. But basically, Estonia has already gained first mover advantage. Everybody knows about them in the scenes. They're already set up, they're running. And over the next years, they're going to gain a very large number of e-residents that are going to be paying their tax money to the Estonian government. They're going to be paying for the Estonian services for administration and whatnot. And this has the potential to have a very significant effect on the Estonian economy, because Estonia is a small country. And all of these location-independent businesses just pumping money into Estonia's economy will the impact will be significant. There's no doubt about that. So basically, when everybody is just like butthurt that they didn't jump on this opportunity, and they see the success that Estonia is having, Estonia is just gonna be having a good laugh, and they're gonna be reaping the benefits that they very much deserve.
Bigger than life. C4, we the business. Getting money like a motherfucking cracker, bitch.
That's why you're mad.